Well, as predicted, market reverses. Oil up 50% stages a remarkable comeback. Union Pacific Railroad was also up. And this is a Dow transport, so it gives you an idea of where we are going. So the economy is not that bad. Yes, there are a lot of closing, but it's not that bad. So, welcome to Market Astrology and Horoscope. Today, I'd like to talk about the energies of the full moon in Scorpio on May 7th, next month. Yes, as expected, there will be bankruptcy, doom and gloom talks, but this full moon is quite favorable because people are happy. Since we're going into full moon in Scorpio and it's kind of a sleazy one, well, because I say sleazy because it's Scorpio, and no offense against Scorpio people, it's just the energy I'm talking about when I say Scorpio. So let's get that out first. I'm actually laughing because Scorpio energy is not an easy one. People who come into your life the next couple of weeks will be Scorpio or Scorpio types. You'll be hearing from them. They have piercing eyes and could get sarcastic even though they don't mean to be. Quick to curse you out if they feel they've been wronged, or just curse like a sailor. And they tend to rub people the wrong way. It's just the energy, and I think you can feel it in the air. In fact, the Navy will be in the news again, along with Syria and North Korea, of course. I heard that Kim Jong-un is a heavy smoker and he's overweight. I hear that the Guardian, the magazine Guardian of UK, did a story about his sister being very active in the government. So, I don't know. Who knows what is going to happen. This full moon is already acting out now. And today is April 26th. And Pluto, the ruler of Scorpio, rules mobs. Notice groups of people demonstrating to open business, stop lockdowns, go back to work. Notice also the media reporting that politicians are talking about red states, blue states. So you'll see and feel that energy yourself. Meaning, it's an energy that says, I want to get even. So this is a Scorpio energy. Energy means that Scorpio energy is about control. It's not bad. You'll notice that things are getting out of hand and people want to control the outrage. So in that sense, the Scorpio energy is important. I just heard about YouTube video, Bill Gates. Well, I went and looked at it, and it says the title is Bill Gates says kill 10 million excess people. Well, the reason I'm bringing this up is because Bill Gates is a Scorpio, if I remember right. I remember when a pie was thrown on his face, because I remember reading that. I think it happened in London, and subsequently he stepped down as CEO of Microsoft. So, good move, because the public generally do not attach themselves to Scorpios as they would to other signs. See, Apple's Steve Jobs, for instance, was liked by the public. Another Scorpio is Hillary Clinton. Yes, another Scorpio is Joe Biden. They tend to be reserved and they give off impressions of being secretive. However, they're very resourceful. They are usually needed, or their contribution is essential. Because Scorpio energy emits sexual instincts, you will be hearing about sex. Astrology is a language, and another word that is Scorpio is death. This is why I laughed at the kill 10 million excess people. That is Scorpio talk because of the word death. And it is about the person who is Scorpio. So Guess what city is Scorpio? Washington, D.C. The city is about sex scandals, taxes, control, groups of people operating in secrecy. That's what Washington is, and that is a Scorpio city. President Trump, who's not a Scorpio, nor does he have any planets in Scorpio, he you notice that he snapped back sarcastically at the reporter out of exasperation. That is the Scorpio energy. So that is how many of us could act in the next couple of weeks. Yesterday, April 25th, Pluto retrograded. Notice the deaths have tapered off significantly. Watch my video on ending COVID-19. And Pluto happens to be the ruler of Scorpio. So enough of the negative side of Scorpio full moon. As I first mentioned, the full moon brings good tidings. It will bring about the needed transformation. All the doom and gloom thrown around about the economy going into the full moon, I see happy American workers. The airlines got their deal as predicted in my previous videos. People did experience delay in receiving their government money due to glitch in the system, as I warned 2 weeks ago. But people are getting their money. What I see is happy transformation in the next 2 weeks, and the people are happy with the government. For those of you wondering why I talk about the markets when the nation is suffering from physical illness and job loss, it's because our big corporations employ a lot of people worldwide. I think Macy's and even Delta, if I'm not wrong, talked about raising money in the stock market so they can ride out this horrible pandemic. This is why having a strong marketplace is important. Many of you lost insurance benefit and even had to tap into your 401k nest egg. 401ks need the market so your nest egg is not wiped out completely. There will be talks about insurance that the government is paying, pension funds, nest eggs like 401ks during the Scorpio full moon. Those will be the main topics. Scorpio is about resources that is essential for life, including sex, because we can't have family without sex. So it's sad that people got sick and died, but you have to also think about those who are now left behind, alive. The live ones have to continue their life facing uncertainty. Grocery stores have empty shelves, so think about that. Right now, we are on government support. They are keeping the entire country from dying. Because Pluto retrograded, there is less confusion. A lot of planets will be retrograding next month. In some other country, corrupt government officials will eye a profitable company and arrest the owner, then seize his or her assets by forcing him or her into bankruptcy. In fact, there was a story about a duck farmer who was doing real well, and the government official forced him into bankruptcy and seized his business. Look it up, Google it. I think either Washington Post or Wall Street Journal did an article on this last year. But I'm not talking about our government, the USA government. Our government isn't doing that. I stated that a company will be announcing job cuts, end of work, or employment-related bad news. Well, last week, Alphabet, parent company of Google, announced hiring freeze and 50% cut in advertising budget. Target also got hit. Remember, expect the unexpected, and retailers are going to take a hit. This was a big one because you wouldn't expect this from Alphabet, but even that company is not immune to all this misfortune. Now, let's get back to the full moon in Scorpio at 17 degrees. This is 1 degree from Alpha Serpentis. Now, you notice that I do pay attention to degrees because they tell you something. Yes, Scorpio is associated with sex, power struggles, secret money matters, and many others, but you have to read it to see what is actually happening. In other words, you have to connect the dots accurately more than just spit out keywords. People have been taken to the streets because they see their life wasting away. There is a mob mentality, mob of working class Americans who feel degraded, their jobs taken away, they have to stand in line for food and then told to just stay home. Scorpio energy is about getting even, so these people are getting even. Okay, you did this, now I will get even. However, this time people are collaborating. Why? This Scorpio moon evokes feelings of who we are as a group. There is a sense of we-ness or brotherhood. I give you this and you give me that. That type of energy. Because we're only 1 degree away from 18 degrees Scorpio, we're not at 18 degrees Scorpio. Many people will be acting out of desperation. There's a do or die mentality here in the US. America is now transforming. After a shock, people change. This is the first stage. People are about to get offensive, but not quite. Before approaching anyone you've been dealing with, ask yourself first, do I owe this person a favor? During this full moon, people will be sarcastic in a nice way. You will feel a subtle pressure to act or decide. Remember, I said in the previous video that someone in uniform, not necessarily a healthcare worker, would make a remark or say something that can be considered incendiary. If that degree was 18 degrees, the remarks or actions would be downright offensive. But there's some restraint this time. The nuances can be exasperating, but there's a desire to be with others who share a bond that is almost religious. I've mentioned before that Americans are really crying at this time. However, their voice is being heard by their government leaders at this time during the full moon. American people are doing well. There were conflicts over opening America, but I see that the workers are doing well and are happy with their leader in government. So now let's talk about the leader. The leader, all alone and at odds with himself. He doesn't like the situation he's in. Saturn is direct in Aquarius, alone. This says alone in the circumstance. But because Saturn is also the co-ruler of Aquarius, he is strong and capable. Uranus rules Aquarius and disposits Saturn and is in Taurus. That means the situation disrupts the finance. Uranus also rules friends, and Saturn feels alone because he will be at odds with his friends who is sitting on the money and may not be happy about this situation. Now, you heard about all this schools or even some restaurants. I think was I don't remember which restaurant now, but Ruth Chris, maybe I think that was. But they received money, and I know Harvard did, but they're paying back. So I think that is this situation. However, Saturn is in dignity in Aquarius and has to do the right thing. 17 degrees Scorpio is about money and collaboration. So this applies to politicians and government leaders and anyone in this type of situation. I am reading the USA. If you want to see how the lunations and planets affect other countries, let me know in the comments below. This full moon also shines light on the healthcare workers and those essential workers as well as government workers who take care of our basic needs such as garbage pickups, workers who process much needed money, run the food banks, take care of people in need. It's about the working class who are disadvantaged. Good news for some, those healthcare workers who have been asking for clothing or masks should get their requisition filled going into this full moon. Also, those whose health is really in bad shape, I think there is something good about medicine. I'm not sure if this is a vaccine they've been waiting for, but whatever the drug, it shows a lot of hope. Why the moon trines Neptune in an applying aspect. It is also costly, as shown by Moon's opposition to a combust Mercury in Taurus. Now, let's turn to mortgage and rent. American working class is very much a fallen angel at this time because of job losses and money. That's why they are desperately crying. However, situation is getting better because they are going to get their money. Why will the Americans be okay? Yes, I understand that we have the most corona-infected population in the world that we know of now, but because the North Node shifted into Gemini this month and Pluto retrograded yesterday, this will keep Americans safe. And just to have the North Node in America's chart, the American that says that's a promise that Americans will be safe. During this full moon, Americans are going to be happy with what the government is initiating. Remember, there is something new coming out of the government. Not only that, but the people are going to be able to get out of this financial situation. Even if we took a hit, we are in a position to get out of this current situation during this full moon. I'm talking about this next 2 weeks. This full moon also brings matters of sanitation and food safety. Light will shine on meat producers and our neighboring countries' workers who come here to work. I think we could see that our neighbors' health conditions may not be good. I'm talking about Latin America. In the market, watch companies that provide waste disposal, small banks, mortgage lenders, health insurers. I think crude is okay. They've already been beaten down. That doesn't mean the stocks are going to rally. In fact, banks, retailers, food purveyors, or food companies aren't that well positioned. The grocery stores have toilet paper shortages, but I guess that just wasn't enough to convince the market. I heard today on CNBC that Target's paying their workers more in wages. I'm glad to hear that. They need to sell electronics, shoes, cosmetics, and those type of items, high margin items. Speaking of cosmetics, petrochemical, or right now we'll just call it crude. If I'm a trader, which I'm not, and I am not giving financial advice, I am just reading market astrology, I would not short crude. I think June contract is what's coming up. In fact, during the first half of May, cosmetics, chemicals, biotechs, waste management type of companies should do well. So who will take the hit? Again, the retailers and bankers. Notice that gold is not going higher. However, gold is now going higher. However, the next wave will be cryptocurrencies. Why? Gold is not something you can carry around. But gold can go higher into the summer, but that's not where the action lies. Uranus in Taurus is about cryptocurrencies. Saturn is moving out of Aquarius, so use this time wisely. Government will eventually step into the cryptocurrency space, just not now. I think they will start next year. Yeah, probably next year when Saturn goes back into Aquarius. And you know what I just thought of? Constellation brands, or those distilleries. I think those stocks, I haven't been watching them, but you should watch. to see how they're moving. I'm sure you guys are using technical analysis so you'd be able to tell whether it's going to go higher or lower. Either way, you'll make money, right? Okay, thank you. That's it for today.